It would change our knowledge about the past. The story of Atlantis, this Sahara civilization, could be almost an origin story for human civilization, certainly in that part of the world.
And it looked just like a giant eye from all the way up in space. Hence, it came to be known as the Eye of the Sahara.
For centuries, the mystery of Atlantis has drawn in dreamers, occultists, and seekers, all fascinated by the idea of an advanced, utopian civilization lost to time. Its lore has inspired countless books, websites, and even quests, with some sacrificing fortunes and even their lives in its pursuit. A quick search for Atlantis returns millions of results, showing just how deeply Plato's tale has captured our imagination.
The story of Atlantis comes down to us from the Greek philosopher Plato.
Some believe Atlantis might actually lie hidden in an unexpected place, in the vast, harsh Sahara Desert. But did such a city ever exist? Could the legendary city be hidden in the Sahara, disguised by the sands of time? Stick around as we reveal a discovery that may finally bring us closer to solving the mystery of Atlantis. Unlike many ancient legends that fade into the fog of history, the story of Atlantis has a clear origin. It first appeared in the writings of Plato, specifically in his dialogues Timaeus and Critias around 360 BC. But the Atlantis Plato described wasn't the peaceful utopia many imagine today. In fact, it was the opposite. Professor Ken Feder, in his Encyclopedia of Dubious Archaeology, paints a starkly different picture. Atlantis was a wealthy, technologically advanced, and militarily dominant society that fell into corruption. Far from being an ideal to admire, it was a cautionary tale, a symbol of how power and greed can lead to a civilization's downfall. What's often overlooked is that Plato's story wasn't really about Atlantis at all. It was about Athens, the heroic city that resisted the tyranny of Atlantis. If Plato's Atlantis were real, its inhabitants might not welcome us with open arms. They'd likely enslave us instead. And no other records of Atlantis exist outside of Plato's work. For a civilization supposedly so magnificent, there's a deafening silence in history. If Atlantis had been real, surely someone else in the vast library of ancient Greek texts would have mentioned it. But that hasn't stopped humanity from searching for it. Over the centuries, people have scoured the globe for the lost city, convinced there must be some truth buried in the myth. Theories have placed Atlantis in the depths of the Atlantic Ocean, under Antarctica's icy expanse, in the jungles of Bolivia, and even in Malta. Yet one theory stands out among the rest, a suggestion that Atlantis might have been hiding in plain sight in the middle of the Sahara Desert. This brings us to the Eye of the Sahara, also known as the Richat Structure.
The Richat Structure is truly one of a kind, in that we don't see anything like it anywhere else on Earth.
Located in Mauritania's Adrar Plateau, this massive geological anomaly is a series of concentric circles of rock and sediment that stretch 28 miles across. From the ground, it's an expanse of barren sand and stone. But from above, it's mesmerizing, a formation so striking that it was only discovered in 1965 when NASA's Gemini 4 mission captured the first photographs of Earth from space. At first glance, it appears to be a meteor crater, a massive circular formation etched into the Earth. But this site, known as the Eye of the Sahara or the Richat Structure, is likely the result of millions of years of erosion rather than a meteor impact. The meteor theory has faded since no impact minerals, typically formed by the intense pressure and heat of a high-speed collision, have been found here. This site's layered rings were likely shaped by weathering forces on rock strata of different hardness, as the Sahara itself transformed from a vibrant landscape of rivers and lakes to the desert we know today. Deep within the structure, you find ancient igneous rock in the center, encircled by younger quartzite and sedimentary rock rings. The exact shape of these rings remains a mystery, though we do know they stretch nearly 30 miles across, making them visible even from space. NASA's photographs of the Richat Structure have helped to highlight each layer through artificial coloring, distinguishing bedrock from vegetation and the salt deposits that appear as white patches. These salt deposits suggest something remarkable. They imply that ocean waters covered this region as recently as 12,000 years ago, far more recently than scientists once thought. Millions of years ago, tectonic and volcanic upheavals tore the ancient supercontinent Pangaea apart. This cataclysmic separation caused molten rock to rise, creating a dome that eventually collapsed, leaving behind Megabreccia, a rugged rock formation holding quartz-rich sandstone fragments. Over time, hydrothermal activity in the dome's center caused it to weaken and sink, forming the deep depression we now call the Eye of the Sahara. The area surrounding the formation is marked by massive dunes called the Ouaran, where medieval villages and ancient Saharan trade routes once thrived. In aerial photos, striking white spots within the eye's rings mark salt deposits, a clear indicator that seawater once flowed over this part of the Sahara. This isn't random. Some scientists now believe the Sahara experienced a period of lush, green landscapes, washed away by a massive flood approximately 11,600 years ago. This timeline aligns intriguingly with Plato's account of Atlantis, a great civilization swept away by catastrophe. If we think it's impossible for Atlantis to be here because it's not underwater, we're only partially right. The Eye of the Sahara may now be landlocked, but ancient floodwaters would have covered this region, making it possible for a city to have been submerged and erased by nature's wrath. One argument against the Eye as Atlantis is its current elevation above sea level. However, over 11,600 years, landscapes change. This region may have risen since ancient times due to tectonic shifts and volcanic activity. Salt deposits and the geological shifts here suggest that it once lay below sea level, now pushed higher by natural forces. Some skeptics argue that if Atlantis were real, we would have found remnants by now. Artifacts, ruins, something that survived. But if the flood that turned the Sahara into a desert was powerful enough to obliterate vegetation, couldn't it have wiped away a city too? However, more recently, the YouTube channel Bright Insight also released a video claiming that the Richat Structure could be the long-lost city of Atlantis. The video points out how this mysterious formation matches Plato's description of Atlantis in surprising ways, drawing viewers into the idea that this desert feature might be the ruins of an ancient, advanced civilization. The theory has sparked plenty of interest and has even drawn support from notable figures like five-time Emmy Award-winning writer Paul Wagner. Wagner asserts that the legendary King Atlas of Atlantis is the same figure as King Atlas of ancient Mauritania. He also suggests that maps attributed to the ancient historian Herodotus show Atlantis in the same location as the Eye. But let's dig deeper. Although Herodotus never created any maps himself, later mapmakers used his writings to visualize the world he described, including places like Mount Atlas and the Atlantean people. Yet Herodotus never actually mentioned Atlantis by name. Wagner also claims that artifacts, including arrowheads, spearheads, stone spheres, and even objects resembling ship parts, have been found in and around the Richat Structure, hinting at a past civilization that may have flourished there. Could these discoveries be from the time of Atlantis, or are they simply remnants of ancient Saharan cultures? In an intriguing twist, formerly classified CIA documents released to the public reveal that the Eye of the Sahara was part of a 1967 geomagnetic anomaly survey. During this mission, CIA aircraft flew over several global locations, including the Richat Structure, to measure changes in Earth's geomagnetic fields. While the fact that they surveyed the site is now public, the results of the mission remain classified. The report on the Eye includes a curious line. While the scientific aspects of this survey are totally unclassified and available to the worldwide scientific community, yet the findings themselves remain hidden, prompting speculation on why the agency might have chosen to withhold the data. This isn't proof of Atlantis, but it suggests that something unusual lies beneath the sands of the Sahara, something the CIA deems sensitive enough to keep secret. Another fascinating detail emerged from the declassified documents. A book titled Adam and Eve was discovered among them. The reasons for its inclusion remain unclear, but the book claims that around 11,600 years ago, massive flooding submerged entire continents. This number resonates. It's the same time frame scholars link to both the destruction of Atlantis and the Younger Dryas period, an intense and sudden climate shift that happened around 14,500 to 11,500 years ago. During this time, Earth's climate abruptly warmed, shifting from glacial cold to warmer conditions in a matter of centuries. This sudden change could have triggered cataclysmic events that destroyed entire civilizations. Could it be that the Eye of the Sahara holds secrets to this ancient mystery? The timelines certainly align. The number 11,600 keeps reappearing, tying together the Younger Dryas, Atlantis, and the desertification of the Sahara. Perhaps the Richat Structure isn't just an unusual geological feature, but a remnant of something extraordinary, a civilization swallowed by time and forgotten by history. Could the Eye of the Sahara really be the lost city of Atlantis? Let us know what you think in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more mysteries waiting to be uncovered.